one of my very, very good friends is let's just say he specializes in diplomatic security for ambassadors, and he protected Ambassador Bremer in both Iraq and Afghanistan in actual combat situations. I talked to him in depth about that operation, the rally in Butler last Saturday. And he said that not only did they get one thing wrong, he said from top to bottom, the U.S. Secret Service got everything wrong. So put a pin in that. We're going to come back to that. But this week has been really tough for me, just trying to unpack all of this. And I was wondering how it was going to be for Donald Trump. Because he was a target, right? I mean, he got hit in a weird, strange way. You know, Donald Trump and the 30,000+ people that were there got shot at together. Isn't that the strangest thing? And when that happens, you form a bond with that person. And, you know, it's just the truth. And I was wondering how he was going to process it. And I've watched him at the convention this week. And I've noticed just a change in his comportment, not necessarily how he speaks, but how he presents himself. Not that he doesn't own a room every time he does. He's still the same Donald Trump in that way. But you can sense, whether it's on a deeper emotional level, psychological level, I don't know. I'm not trying to diagnose the guy, but you can sense that something has changed in him. In the first 25 minutes of his speech, I found myself getting a little, emotional in a way, because I love this country. And I mean, obviously I'm a Donald Trump guy, but we almost lost the presumptive Republican nominee. And I've said it many times, he's the most electrifying political figure in my lifetime. And it's not even close. And you look at everything that, because the media is all like, well, look, it's so troubling. So many people on that stage are saying they tried to kill President Trump. They. That's troubling. It's just been really upsetting to me, because we all know who they is, right? Chucky Schumer, like, the intelligence community, the 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. The deep state, unelected bureaucrats, people that aren't beholden to us, people who are impossible to fire. We know who they are, right? And they have hated Donald Trump since the moment he came down the golden escalator. There's not even been a question. They fabricated intelligence against him. The Steele dossier was completely fake, with some of the most grotesque false accusations that you could possibly muster against somebody. And just as an aside, can you imagine being Melania? Can you imagine? I mean, you can imagine. You've been through that with me, with her falsely accusing me of stuff.
Yes, it's the worst thing in the world.
It's the worst thing in the world. Can you imagine Barron? Well, we can, because our kids had to go through that hell too when they were little. So we know who they are, but here's what really upsets me. They're more angry. People, left-wing media like MSDNC and CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS, they seem to be more upset at Republicans calling it out than the actual assassination attempt against President Trump. If that doesn't speak directly to the core, to your soul of who you are, and recognizing that we are in a spiritual fight, that I do think that we're up against evil, or at least people who have been completely corrupted by evil. It's hard to be that callous towards someone after they barely survived with their lives. Can you imagine being Melania or Barron or Dawn or Eric or Ivanka or Tiffany, watching their father get shot down on TV. I mean, the only thing that we saw for a while was him grabbing his ear and going down. But then he stood up, raises his fist, and said, "Fight, fight, fight." And that, Trump's speech was amazing for a lot of reasons last night. He was unifying. His tone was right. You could tell he was deeply affected. He said he didn't want to be successful or didn't want to work for just 50% of Americans. He wanted to work for all Americans. What you saw last night was a general election speech. The only time he mentioned Biden was one singular time, and it was when he went off script. Trump did a phenomenal job last night. But what I think people will remember about these last weeks are the images of Trump grabbing his ear and going down. And then all of the world, all of America, all of the world not knowing whether he was alive or dead. And then he stands up with blood all over his face and he pumps his fist. And we were there. We saw it. We heard that crowd react. It was unbelievable to just be a part of.
Whether you live at the beach, are going to one, or just want to imagine yourself there, Red Beach Nation has the comfy, patriotic apparel for the occasion. Founded by a former counterterrorism officer and war veteran of both the Afghanistan and Iraq wars, Red Beach Nation is committed to upholding the American values and principles that we all hold so dear. So grab your swag and rep the nation. Visit redbeachnation.com and use the promo code on your screen to save 10% off. Again, that's redbeachnation.com.